Welcome to District Command Central, your go-to source for the latest news and updates on the Washington Commanders. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a play. There's a certain kind of tension that hangs over a football facility when one of its biggest stars is in limbo. You can feel it in the locker room, in the way reporters linger just a little longer after practice, in how teammates answer questions with half smiles and rehearsed optimism. That's exactly what's going on right now in Ashburn, Virginia, where the Washington Commanders are holding their breath over the uncertain status of wide receiver Terry McLaurin. The heartbeat of this offense, the face of the franchise, the guy fans count on to make the impossible look routine. Suddenly, his name is hovering on every injury report, and nobody seems to have a clear answer on when he'll actually be back. Dan Quinn, the Commanders' new head coach and the supposed tone setter of this new era in D.C., tried to keep things positive earlier this week. He told reporters he was hopeful about McLaurin's progress as the team geared up for a massive Monday night showdown against the Chicago Bears. But optimism in the NFL is a tricky thing. Sometimes it's genuine belief, and sometimes it's just the polite version of panic. Because if you were paying attention to what actually went down on the practice field, the tone felt very different. McLaurin hasn't played in the last 2 games because of that nagging quad injury, one that originally seemed minor but has now stretched into something more complicated. The fact that the Commanders didn't put him on injured reserve was supposed to be a good sign. It meant, at least on paper, that they believed he'd be back within a few weeks. But as every fan who's ever followed a team knows, not going on IR doesn't always mean you're close to returning. It can also mean the team is buying time, waiting, hoping, crossing fingers that the recovery timeline bends in their favor. And so far it hasn't. When practice opened on Wednesday, all eyes were on the field, searching for number 17 in those crisp burgundy and gold colors. But McLaurin was nowhere to be seen in the full team drills. On Thursday, he showed up, but not in the way fans wanted to see. No helmet, no pads, just a few light stretches with trainers before heading to the sidelines. That's the kind of scene that sends shivers down a fan base's spine. Because it's not the look of a player gearing up to go to battle in a few days. It's the look of a player who's still testing his limits, still trying to figure out what his body will let him do. That kind of cautious approach tells you everything you need to know about how the Commanders are handling this. They understand that rushing McLaurin back before he's ready could have devastating long-term consequences. A quad injury might not sound catastrophic compared to, say, an ACL tear, but it's the kind of thing that lingers, that nags, that robs a player of that extra burst that separates good receivers from great ones. And with a guy like McLaurin, whose entire game is built on precision, explosiveness, and timing, coming back too soon could derail not just a few weeks, but an entire season. Still, this is the NFL. Nobody wants to sit out. And McLaurin, if you know anything about him, is not the kind of guy who's content to stand on the sidelines watching someone else take his reps. This is a player who fought for every inch of recognition he's ever gotten. A third-round pick out of Ohio State back in 2019, he came into the league with something to prove, and from day one, he's done exactly that, quietly becoming one of the most consistent, reliable receivers in football. Even when Washington was going through chaos after chaos, different coaches, different quarterbacks, endless front office drama, McLaurin was the steady heartbeat, the one thing fans could depend on. That's part of why this current uncertainty feels so heavy. It's not just about losing a player. It's about losing the emotional core of the offense. When Terry's on the field, there's a certain electricity, a certain calm confidence that spreads through the huddle. The young quarterback, the new guys on the line, the rookies, everyone feeds off his energy. Without him, the Commanders have done surprisingly well, thanks in large part to the emergence of Deebo Samuel Sr. and Luke McCaffrey, along with a dominant rushing attack that currently leads the league. But make no mistake, that doesn't make McLaurin expendable. Because when the season gets late, when defenses tighten up and every first down feels like a small miracle, that's when you need your stars. That's when you need the guy who can win a 50-50 ball, break a tackle, and turn a broken play into a highlight. That's when you need Terry McLaurin. And that's exactly what the Commanders are afraid of losing if this quad injury doesn't turn the corner soon. There's also a mental side to this that doesn't get talked about enough. For players like McLaurin, ultra-competitive, obsessed with preparation, addicted to routine, being sidelined isn't just frustrating. It's tormenting. These guys don't know how to slow down. Every day they're not on the field feels like a loss, like they're letting their teammates down. You could see it in the brief moments McLaurin was visible during practice. The look of a player itching to do more, constantly checking with trainers, always testing that leg just a little bit further. But the Commanders' medical staff has to be the bad guy here. They have to protect him from himself, to make sure that when he does return, he's truly ready. That brings us to Monday night. Washington versus Chicago. Primetime lights, national audience, the kind of stage that McLaurin usually owns. He's the guy who makes those moments feel bigger, who takes over drives, who pulls off toe-tap sideline catches that make you pause the replay just to appreciate them. And yet, here we are, days away from kickoff, with more questions than answers. Quinn didn't commit to anything in his latest press conference. He said the team was evaluating, and that McLaurin was making progress. Those are the classic coach phrases you hear when nobody wants to say what everyone's thinking, that there's a real chance he's not going to play. For fans, it's a roller coaster of emotions. One minute there's hope that maybe he'll suit up in some limited capacity. The next minute the pessimism creeps back in. Social media is flooded with speculation. Fantasy football managers are panicking, and the Washington faithful are left wondering whether they'll have their captain out there when it matters. It's almost cruel that this game is on Monday night, giving everyone an extra 24 hours to overanalyze every scrap of information, every reporter tweet, every practice clip. The truth is, this kind of uncertainty is part of what makes football such a brutal sport. It's not just about who's the better team. It's about who's healthier, who's luckier, who can keep their best players on the field. And right now, Washington is learning that lesson the hard way. But to their credit, they're not folding. The next man up mentality has been strong. Deebo Samuel Sr. has stepped up as a leader, McCaffrey has shown flashes of brilliance, and the running game, behind a surprisingly cohesive offensive line, has been a revelation. Still, everyone knows that if this team really wants to make noise later in the season, they'll need McLaurin. He's not just a receiver, he's a tone setter. He changes the way defenses line up. He demands double coverage. He opens up space for everyone else. His absence forces the Commanders to adjust their identity, to lean heavier on the ground game, and hope their play action keeps defenses honest. That's sustainable for a while, but not forever. So now, the Commanders find themselves in a delicate balancing act. Push too hard, and you risk losing your star for months. Wait too long, and you could lose crucial ground in a competitive NFC race. Quinn's staff has preached patience, but patience is not something that comes easily in this league. Not when every win matters. Not when the margin for error is razor thin. And McLaurin? You can bet he's doing everything humanly possible to get back. Whether it's extra treatment sessions, long nights in the film room, or just visualizing himself back out there under the lights, he's preparing. Because that's who he is, a competitor to the core. He doesn't know how to coast. He only knows how to fight. As of now, the official word is still up in the air. Questionable might be the term on the injury report, but for Commanders fans, it feels more like anxious. Every update, every practice rep, every quote from Quinn or the medical staff is being dissected. Will Terry McLaurin make his return on Monday Night Football? Or will the Commanders have to find a way, once again, to win without their leader? Only time will tell. But one thing's for sure, the longer he's out, the louder the whispers will get. Because this team, for all its resilience, is built around number 17's fire. Without it, something feels missing. Something feels incomplete. And until Terry McLaurin is back in full stride, catching passes and pumping his fist in front of a roaring FedEx Field crowd, that uneasy feeling won't go away. If you're enjoying the coverage, make sure to smash that like button and drop a comment with your thoughts on the Commanders' latest moves. We want to hear from you. Breaking news is reverberating across the NFL universe today. And if you're a fan of explosive wide receivers and dramatic team shakeups, you're going to want to sit down for this one. It has just been confirmed. CeeDee Lamb, the electrifying playmaker who had Cowboys fans dreaming big every Sunday, is officially a member of the Washington Commanders. Yes, you heard that right. Lamb, who has consistently tormented defenses with his combination of speed, hands, and football IQ, has made a seismic shift in the league, leaving a trail of stunned fans, shocked analysts, and a Cowboys locker room that now has to come to terms with the reality that their superstar is heading into a new chapter in the nation's capital. The news started as whispers, the kind of murmurs that circulate in the NFL's inner circles, the sort that feel too tantalizing to be true. Then, almost overnight, it became undeniable. CeeDee Lamb is no longer a Cowboy, and the Commanders have landed a player whose talent can change the trajectory of an entire franchise. Now, let's talk about what this really means. For Washington, acquiring Lamb is more than just a splashy signing. It's a statement. It's a signal to the league that the Commanders are not here to play small ball. They're here to compete at the highest level, to make a run that fans have been longing for since the team's Super Bowl hopes have been more of a dream than a reality. And for Lamb, this is a chance to step into a new spotlight, a new system, and an entirely fresh set of opportunities to showcase the kind of highlight reel plays that made him one of the most talked about wide receivers in football today. The chemistry he can develop with the Commanders' quarterback could be the spark that ignites a division, reshapes defenses, and forces every team in the NFC to rethink their game plan every single week. We're talking about someone who isn't just fast or physically gifted. CeeDee Lamb is a student of the game, a route runner who knows how to exploit mismatches, a player who can read defenses in real time and make adjustments that most receivers can only dream of. But here's the kicker. The timing of this move has Cowboys fans feeling betrayed, blindsided, and maybe a little heartbroken. Lamb wasn't just a player in Dallas. He was the symbol of hope, the player who made Sundays in Texas feel electric. Week after week, he delivered jaw-dropping catches, first-down miracles, and touchdown celebrations that became instant viral moments. Now, imagining him in burgundy and gold, running precise routes against his former team, is enough to make any diehard Cowboy cringe. There's no denying the sting here. And let's be real, part of the drama is in the optics. A star leaving a team that clearly invested in him, joining a franchise hungry for recognition and playoff glory. This isn't just a trade or a minor signing. This is a seismic shift in the NFL landscape, the kind of story that analysts will dissect endlessly, breaking down each route, each pass, each potential mismatch for years to come. Rumors had swirled for months about CeeDee's future, about potential negotiations and off-season shakeups. But until today, no one could quite imagine that he would pull the ultimate dribble on the Cowboys, the team that drafted him and nurtured his rise to stardom. Speculation now runs wild about the domino effect this move might cause. Other teams, already feeling the pressure to keep pace with elite receivers, are watching closely, trying to gauge the market and understand just how much one player can shift the balance of power in a division. The Commanders, historically known for flashes of brilliance but often falling short when it counts, are betting on Lamb to be the catalyst that changes their narrative, the missing piece that could transform them from playoff hopefuls into Super Bowl contenders. And let's be honest, the potential for on-field fireworks is enormous. Lamb's combination of speed, agility, and route-running precision is perfectly suited for an offense that can adapt to his strengths, and with the right quarterback, the possibilities are almost limitless. Imagine him lined up on the outside, breaking free from defenders with his signature moves, the crowd roaring as he catches passes that leave everyone wondering how he made it look so easy. The narrative is irresistible. This isn't just a player change. It's a story of transformation, ambition, and, yes, a little bit of drama that the league thrives on. Meanwhile, Cowboys fans are left to grapple with the shockwaves of this departure. Social media has been ablaze since the news broke, with fans sharing everything from disbelief to frustration, to what some might call poetic indignation at the audacity of losing Lamb to a division rival. Analysts are already dissecting every angle, from salary cap implications to potential trade fallout, to how the Cowboys might pivot their offensive strategies without their marquee receiver. It's the kind of moment that can define a franchise's identity, a turning point that reshapes expectations and forces a team to look inward and ask hard questions about strategy, recruitment, and future stars. Lamb's exit leaves a vacuum, yes, but also an opportunity, a reminder of how vital elite talent is in the NFL and how quickly the tides can turn when one player decides to chart a new course. Rumors continue to swirl about how this deal came together behind the scenes. Insiders hint at intense negotiations, meetings that stretched late into the night, and an almost cinematic tug-of-war between team executives, agents, and Lamb himself. Some say there were last-minute offers from multiple teams, a bidding war fueled by a player whose value has never been higher. Yet, the Commanders emerged victorious, convincing Lamb that this was the perfect landing spot to maximize both his individual impact and his team's championship potential. The strategic brilliance behind this move cannot be understated. Washington didn't just sign a star. They strategically targeted a player who could instantly elevate their offense, create mismatches that exploit the weaknesses of every defense in their path, and serve as the cornerstone for a team that has long sought an identity in the modern NFL landscape. And let's not forget the human element. CeeDee Lamb's journey is one of persistence, vision, and undeniable talent. From his early days carving through defenses in college to his meteoric rise with the Cowboys, he has always been a player who defies expectations and thrives under pressure. Moving to a new city, embracing a new system, and stepping into a team eager to embrace him as their centerpiece is no small feat. But if there's one thing Lamb has proven, it's that he thrives in environments where he can take control of the narrative, where he can be the difference maker, where every catch, every route, every touchdown contributes to a story bigger than himself. For fans in Washington, the excitement is palpable. Imagine what Sundays will look like now, with Lamb running explosive plays that ignite a stadium and dominate highlight reels week after week. The energy, the anticipation, the sheer spectacle of it all, it's a dream scenario for a franchise desperate to make a statement. So, as the dust settles on what may be one of the most shocking offseason moves in recent NFL history, the ripple effects are already being felt. Analysts will continue to debate, fans will continue to react, and the league itself will adjust to the new reality. CeeDee Lamb is now a Commanders player. The Cowboys will regroup, strategize, and look for ways to fill the void left by one of the most dynamic receivers in football today. But one thing is certain: the drama, the excitement, and the storylines just got turbocharged. For Lamb, this is a new beginning. For Washington, it's a chance to rise. And for the rest of the league, it's a reminder that in the NFL, anything can happen, and every move has the potential to reshape destinies, ignite rivalries, and create moments that fans will remember for decades. The buzz is electric, the speculation is wild, and the narrative is just beginning. CeeDee Lamb in burgundy and gold isn't just a headline. It's the start of a new chapter, a story full of possibilities, rivalries, and jaw-dropping plays that could define an era. Cowboys fans will be watching, Washington fans will be cheering, and the rest of the league will be calculating how to counter a player who is as unpredictable as he is game-changing. This is more than a signing. It's a statement, a spectacle, and a tantalizing tease of what the NFL can deliver when talent, timing, and ambition collide in spectacular fashion. The rumor mill has become reality, and the Commanders have just made their boldest move yet. CeeDee Lamb has arrived, and the league will never look the same again. Thanks for tuning into District Command Central. Make sure to subscribe and follow us for all the Commanders news you need. Until next time, keep the faith and hail to the Commanders.